Seattle smelled like rain that night. Valerie Morgan stood on the balcony of her small downtown apartment, a glass of red wine in hand, watching the city lights flicker across the Sound. In less than 4 years, she had built something people in her industry called *impossible star. Her restaurant, *velour*, had gone from a quirky experiment to a culinary sensation. Reservations were booked *3 months in advance *. Celebrities posted photos from her tables. Even *Bon Appetit* called her *America's next big thing. But success came with sacrifices. Valerie barely slept. Friends drifted away. Her last relationship ended when her partner told her, "You're married to that restaurant, not me." She laughed it off. She thought she could fix everything later. She never got the chance. At *2:37 a.m. Her phone started ringing. First once, then twice, then over and over. She answered groggily, but on the other end, she heard only chaos, shouting, sirens, someone yelling her name. By the time she reached *Pike Street the night sky glowed orange. Fire trucks surrounded the block. Her restaurant was an inferno, flames clawing into the air, glass shattering in bursts. "You need to stay back," a firefighter shouted, but she didn't move. She stood there barefoot, rain soaking through her clothes, watching everything she'd built turn to ash. By sunrise, *velour* was gone. And with it, so was Valerie. The weeks that followed were worse than the fire itself. Insurance refused to cover most of the damages. Investors pulled out overnight, one by one. Her business partners stopped answering her calls. People she thought were friends vanished. Her once bustling social media became a graveyard. The industry moved on without her. By spring, she'd sold her apartment, drained her savings, and packed a single suitcase. One rainy morning, she bought a one-way ticket to Texas *. She didn't tell anyone. She just disappeared. Nowhere, Texas. 8 months later, Valerie Morgan was a ghost. She worked double shifts at Highway 17 Grill, a small roadside diner an hour outside Austin. The neon sign buzzed weakly, half its letters burnt out. Inside, cracked leather booths sat under faded posters of cowboys. The air always smelled of burnt coffee and old fryer oil. Gone were the Michelin critics, the tasting menus, the perfectly plated dishes. Now she flipped burgers, refilled ketchup bottles, and wiped down sticky tables until midnight. The other staff didn't know who she was. To them, she was just another tired waitress with a haunted look in her eyes. Her only friend was Jenny, a 19-year-old college dropout with a loud laugh and a pink streak in her hair. One night, while rolling silverware, Jenny asked, "Val, why'd you come here? I mean, this place isn't exactly where dreams go to live." Valerie smiled faintly but didn't answer. She didn't want to talk about Seattle. Then came the day Rick Johnson, the diner's sharp-tongued owner, stormed into the kitchen holding a clipboard. "All right, listen up, people," he barked. "We got a VIP tomorrow night. Some Dallas investor passing through on his way to Austin. He wants the full experience. And guess what, Val?" Valerie raised an eyebrow. "What? You're cooking?" She froze. "Me?" Rick smirked. "You used to be a big deal, right? Show me you still got it." That night, she sat on her narrow bed, staring at an old leather-bound notebook. Inside were handwritten recipes, stained with wine and olive oil, reminders of who she used to be. Her fingers trembled as she flipped the pages. For the first time in months, she felt something she thought she'd lost forever: hope. ****, the dinner that changed everything ***. The next day, Valerie arrived at the diner 6 hours before opening. She'd driven all morning to source fresh ingredients from a local farmer's market, wild herbs, heirloom tomatoes, imported citrus. She spent every last dollar she had on them. In the tiny, greasy kitchen of Highway 17 Grill, she transformed the chaos into art. She made *** seared salmon with caramelized orange glaze ***, truffle whipped potatoes ***, and a *** rosemary citrus tart *** for dessert. By the time the VIP arrived, the diner smelled like something out of a fine dining magazine. The man was ** Matthew Cole ** mid-40s, confident but understated, the kind of person you could tell was rich without him having to say it. He sat at a booth, loosened his tie, and waited. When Valerie set the first plate in front of him, his expression shifted from mild politeness to shock. He took one bite, then another. Finally, he set his fork down and leaned back. "Where?" he asked softly. "Did you learn to cook like this?" Valerie hesitated. "Seattle. I used to have a restaurant." He studied her for a long moment. "What happened?" She swallowed hard. "It burned down." Instead of pity, he smiled faintly. "Then maybe," he said, "it's time to build something new." They talked for hours, about flavors, about business, about starting over. Valerie was hesitant, terrified, even, but Matthew wasn't just offering money, he offered belief. 2 weeks later, papers were signed. 2 months later, construction began. And 3 months after that, downtown Austin had a new name on its skyline. Aurora. The restaurant was called Aurora, a symbol of rebirth, the dawn after darkness. Opening night was electric. The room buzzed with anticipation. Soft jazz played under the hum of conversation. Every table was full. And outside, a line stretched down the block. Valerie stood in her pristine kitchen, watching her new team, handpicked, passionate, hungry to prove themselves. The first plates went out, and within minutes, the whispers started. "Who is she? Is that the chef from Seattle? God, this is incredible." By the end of the night, critics were already writing headlines. "Valerie Morgan returns, and she's better than ever." Standing by the window, gazing at the glittering Austin skyline, Valerie finally exhaled. For the first time in years, she wasn't running from her past. The fire had destroyed her old life. But from its ashes, she had built something stronger. And this time, nothing, not fear, not failure, not fate, would take it away. Subscribe and like so you don't miss the next shocking story. Thank you for watching.